Cases when there are extraneous living beings in the human body often seem like horror film fiction to us, which we like to scare each other with. Nevertheless, doctors have registered such uninvited guests. So today, we present to you 5 animals found inside a person. Let's go! Spider in the ear. A woman was deeply shocked when she heard that a spider was the cause of the extraneous sounds in her ear. 25-year-old Lee said that several years ago she went hiking in the mountains with her boyfriend. At some point, as she passed a cemetery, she noticed a fruit tree and decided to pick some fruit. On her return home, she began to feel the scratching sounds in her ear, lasting several days. Sounds accompanied by intolerable pain, which did not go away even under the influence of painkillers and anti-inflammatory drugs. At one point, the woman even decided that she became obsessed with paying a visit to the cemetery. When in the end, she turned to the otolaryngologist, the doctor found deep inside the ear canal a stuck spider. Apparently, it had climbed into the ear when the woman disturbed it by picking fruit. The spider settled in the eardrum and even spun a protective web around itself. Doctors used special eardrops to put the spider to sleep and then, during surgery, removed it. Larvae in the scalp. In the summer of 2007, a student from the United States, Aaron Dallas, spent his holidays traveling in Central America. The young man received a lot of vivid, memorable impressions, and when he returned home, he noticed some strange bulges on his head and hurried to the hospital. At first, physicians assumed that the unusual traces appeared as a result of insect bites, until the bumps began to move. During a detailed examination, it was found that 5 larvae of flies had settled under the scalp. As Aaron himself later said, for some time he heard an incomprehensible noise, which was coming from the bulges, and touching them, felt as if something was moving under the skin, but he thought it was caused by the movement of blood. After the doctors figured out the reasons for the appearance of painful growths, the larvae were immediately removed. A worm in the eye. Once the American John Matthews began to have problems with his vision, with his left eye, he began to see 2 obscure, blurry dark spots. It was like looking through a dirty lens, Matthews later said. The man turned to a doctor for help, hoping that he would help him get rid of these special effects. When the doctor closely studied the eye of John, he found a microscopic worm in it, and at that time in the world, only 15 such cases were known. Such parasites enter the human stomach and then begin to travel through the tissues of the body, sometimes moving into the brain or even the eyes. The worm settled in Matthew's eye and fed on the retina. The movement of the parasite inside its own eyeball managed to spot John. With the help of a laser, physicians killed the worm, and now Matthews has completed a course of therapy to restore vision. But according to forecasts, some damage to the eye was irreversible, so it is unlikely that he will be able to fully regain his former visual acuity. Fish in the lungs. Indian surgeons performed a unique operation. They extracted live fish from the lungs of a 12-year-old boy. This was reported by the British edition of The Sun. A young Indian resident, Anu Barela, swallowed the fish when he was playing by the stream. The boy had done it before. However, this time the fish got into the boy's lungs instead of the stomach. As a result, the boy's blood oxygen level fell. He began to suffocate. His parents took him to the hospital. Doctors did an X-ray and discovered a fish in his body. After this, the small patient was quickly operated on. The surgical procedure lasted about 45 minutes. The fish taken from the lungs turned out to be alive. Dr. Pramod Javar, who operated on the child, admitted that this was his first encounter of such an unusual case in his 20-year practice. Leech in the nose. For several weeks, 24-year-old Daniela Liverani periodically bled from the nose. The girl assumed that the cause of the bleeding was a bursting vessel after a motorcycle accident. But one day, while taking a shower, she suddenly realized that something black rigging in her nostril was alive. I came out of the shower, wiped off the misted mirror, looked at myself carefully, and found on that thing that appeared from my nostrils ring segments, said Daniela. The alarmed girl immediately called an ambulance. The doctors removed the parasite with clamps and tweezers. The girl thinks that the leech entered her nose about a month ago during a trip to Vietnam and Cambodia. It is quite possible while swimming in local waters. If you liked the video, put your likes and subscribe to the channel.